Hi people, it's Paul. This is the next installment. We're going to look here at the progression of our form of government being originating and unfolding and progressing, how we carefully laid it and placed it and adopted it and occupied it in every case. So what we will do here to begin with is look at this early collection of New Hampshire State Papers, Volume 8, the Revolutionary Period. A journal of the House of Representatives of the Colony of New Hampshire, who convened at Exeter as delegates from the several towns, parishes, and places in said colony, on the 21st day of December, 1775, and continued a Congress until the 5th day of January, 1776, at which point they then, by leave of the Honorable, the Continental Congress, resolved themselves into a House of Representatives or Assembly for the colony of New Hampshire. So, see how clearly that is. Up until this day, January 5th, that's when we created the Constitution, which resolved themselves into a form of government for the colony, no longer the province. In Congress Friday, November 3rd, 1775, the Congress, taking into consideration the report of the Committee on the New Hampshire Instructions. So there's a Committee on the New Hampshire Instructions, which is a liaison between New Hampshire and the Continental Congress, which is where we get the by leave of the Honorable. See? Now what we see here, though, is delegates. This is where this starts, people. Before any of these dates, there were these events where delegates were chosen, elected, selected among the several towns, parishes, and places in New Hampshire. See? So what happened first in this whole deal is the people. Where do we first appear in these words? That it be recommended to the Provincial Convention of New Hampshire to call a full and free representation. See, we're changing our form of government. You got to go out through the state and to all locations and choose new according to this new form. Now, obviously, we're not even at the Declaration of Independence when we're making these assemblies and changes. January 76, 5th day, we resolved ourselves into a House of Representatives or Assembly for the colony of New Hampshire. November 3rd, 1775, was resolved, that it is recommended to the Provincial Convention of New Hampshire to call a full and free representation of the people. Here we are, the people. Here goes a call. The call goes out to the people. To choose full and free representations for themselves, that such representatives if they think it necessary, establish such a form of government as in their judgment will best produce the happiness of the people and most effectually secure peace and good order in the province. During the continuance of the present dispute between Great Britain and the colonies. An extract from the minutes, Charles Thompson. January, we're not going to go all through all this, but we will in another one. In Congress at Exeter, January 5th, 1776, voted that this Congress take up civil government for this colony in manner and form following, viz., we the members of the Congress of New Hampshire, chosen and appointed by the free suffrages of the people of the said colony, and authorized and empowered by them. We are the root and the source of all the authority and all the power. We authorize them to meet together and use such means and pursue such measures as they should judge best for the public good, and in particular to establish some form of government, provided that measures should be recommended by the Continental Congress, and the recommendation to that purpose having been transmitted to us from the said Congress already, it has been submitted to us by the Continental Congress prior to January 5th. Obviously, because we've already taken consideration of it, having taken into our serious consideration the unhappy circumstances into which this colony is involved by means of All right. So where are we? We're on 1 through 3. So we did take the name colony and establish that form of government. January 5th, 1776. Here is where we will come back to some of the very simple establishment of offices and officers. And all civil officers for the colony and for each county be appointed. Time of continuance in office be determined, except clerks of courts and county treasurers and recorders of deeds. And as for them, so this is how simple it is when we, go through one session, simply outlining and focusing on this, the establishment of the offices and the fulfilling of them. So, but right now we're looking at what we just saw, our first Constitution. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead to page 200. Close. Whoops. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's an interesting factoid just before we go into this. Resolved that the within bill of fees for the court maritime in this colony and for the several officers of said court. There's a bill for all the fees for the court maritime. Let's say they've extended the maritime past its traditional boundaries, as it's written in other places. All right, but I wanted to just check this little note out. The Declaration of Independence, which follows, is recorded immediately after the foregoing Journal of the House of Representatives. It is written in a large, bold, legible hand with red ink, and although the Declaration is found in every variety of form and in many publications elsewhere, the editor thinks proper to give an exact copy of it here as a document subscribed by our own honored delegates in Congress and belonging in part to our own history to be transmitted to our children and children's children of future generations. The editor. Now, isn't that glorious? This is a compilation of rich treasure handed down. So great. So now we're familiar. We're up to July 4, 1776. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United. Now look, see what he just said, all that blah, 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 blah about an exact copy, and they capitalized this. Awful. But anyway, we hold these truths, and these pledges, and these trusts, endowment. Yeah, all of this we know is rooted and sourced of the gospel. So when in the course of human events, when necessary for people to dissolve political bands, is when that people becomes of full age, in possession of their land and maturity and majority and in good faith, able, the appointed time, the separate. All right. So anyway, here we go. July 4, 1776. So we saw action beginning at the towns and places of the state by voting, electing, choosing, authorizing, imposing trust, reposing trust within, entrusting and empowering delegates to represent us, inform our state government, to serve us. And we saw that happen before then the chosen delegates assembled. And this is the fruit of their labors. So we're going to continue to see this pattern throughout the operation at the state level, which is down to the local level. The authority derives from there up to establishing these in this assembly. And then these resolves come back to the same place. It goes over and over to carry these resolves into execution. This went back to the land and soil of the states and towns and parishes and places. And we're all familiar with this now, so we go to tyrant, unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Sent out by order of the in the House of Representatives, July 6, 1776, resolved that did we already read this? Where was the resolution to submit copies? Oh, right here. Ordered that an authenticated copy of the Declaration of Independence with the names and members of Congress subscribing the same be sent to each of the United States. Here's the United States, U.S. We already seen the States of America in the Declaration. Here's the United States. And in the declarations, there was also little u, United States of America. and they be desired to have the same put on record by order of Congress. A true copy, John Hancock, President, entered and recorded in New Hampshire. Okay, got that out of the way. Sent out by order of the General Congress, containing the names of 8,199 persons in New Hampshire who signed it, by which they solemnly engaged and promised that they would, to the utmost of their power and at the risk of their lives and fortunes and arms, with arms, oppose the hostile proceedings of the British fleets and armies against the United American colonies, with the names of 700 who refused. In Committee of Safety, April 12th, in order to carry the underwritten resolve, this is in April 1776, of the Honorable Continental Congress into execution, you are requested to desire all males above 21 years of age, lunatics, idiots, and Negroes excepted, to sign to the declaration on this paper, and when so done, to make return thereof, together with the name or names of all who refuse to sign, to the General Assembly or Committee of Safety of this colony. March 14, 1776, that it be recommended to the several assemblies, conventions, and councils or committees of safety of the United Colonies immediately to cause all persons to be disarmed within their respective colonies who are notoriously disaffected to the cause of America, or who have not associated and refuse to associate, to defend by arms the United Colonies against the hostile attempts of the British fleets and colonies. Consequences of the above resolution of the Honorable Continental Congress, and to show our determination in joining our American brethren in defending the lives, liberties, and properties of the inhabitants of the United Colonies, we, the subscribers, do hereby solemnly engage and promise that we will, to the utmost of our power, at the risk of our lives and fortunes, with arms, oppose the hostile proceedings of the British fleets and armies against the United American Colonies. The preceding text was the Declaration of Independence by the people of New Hampshire. I'm going to read that again for the assembly. The preceding text was, that is the association test. See, this is chain 2. This was done by our elected delegates and then was sent to us to sign in every town. Agreeable to order of the legislature of New Hampshire. This is the same word, legislature, assembly, House of Representatives, and the council. All right, so where are we? We've already subscribed. So now we are in full faith and credit with the pledge over here. Mutually pledged to each other our lives, our fortunes, our sacred honor, signed by our representatives and now signed by us. And the now signed by us version, which is called this, the association test, is the Declaration of Independence by the people of New Hampshire, preceding the one of July 4, 1776. It was a similar act to that of the Patriots who signed the National Declaration on the 4th July, 1776. See? but it preceded that event and seems to have been a sanction or an encouragement to those who, excuse me, who contemplated it. It was a bold and hazardous step to subjects thus to resist the authority of one of the most powerful sovereigns in the world. Had the cause in which these men pledged their lives and fortunes failed, and that cause is declared as the gospel, it would have subjected every individual who signed it to the pains and penalties of treason, to a cruel and ignominious death. It is not to be understood that all who declined signing it were Tories, blah, blah, blah. The article of shedding blood in me is not a humor, but a principle, not an evasion, but a fact. It was received in early life and has grown with my growth and strengthened with my strength. Not a partiality for British more than savage blood. For all circumstances considered, I think the latter more innocent than the former. All right, so here is an example of the first pledge. We, the subscribers, solemnly engage and promise that we will, to the utmost of our power, at the risk of our lives and fortunes, with arms, oppose the hostile proceedings of the British fleets and armies against the United American colonies. And that's the pattern you see for here. And now this will go all the way to almost page 300. See how this is still going? All right, so we want to get to what? Page 332. There we are. Okay, voted and resolved. The Declaration of the Representatives of the United States of America. I want you to look at this, people. The Declaration of the Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled July 4, 1776. So now they didn't capitalize it all, but they capitalized the U and the S and the A. For independency being read and published in this house, this house, voted and resolved that this colony assume and take upon themselves the name and style of New Hampshire, and that all commissions, writs, processes, and all law proceedings which heretofore were made and issued in the name and style of the province of New Hampshire, or in the name and style of the colony of New Hampshire, shall henceforth be made and issued in the name and style of the, oh my God, are you kidding me? This I don't believe is correct. Now we got to do more digging. And can you even believe this? This is not how it was written. It was this to this. And we will see that everywhere. But now we got a problem, but look at what that is. So where's the next example, maybe for the state? Oh no, but I did. Well, okay, so that's the association test. Now we will go to page 332. Is that where we just were? Yeah, that's where we just were. Adopt the name and style of New Hampshire. The state of New Hampshire, and not otherwise. I gotta look into this. Jesus, this is a mess. Because now they all capitalize this, and I don't know. We gotta find ink, wet ink. Good God. Because I don't believe this was all caps. I think it was like this. So this really doesn't make sense. But we did adopt the name and style of State of New Hampshire. There's two fucked up, not otherwise. Okay, now we're going to jump. We got just 2 left. No, I'm sorry, we got 3 left. All right, so page 747. Get on that 747. So here we have and then if there's a resolution right here. And then articles of confederation be printed forthwith and distributed. All right. So these are the articles adopted between the states of. We just adopted the style of state. Now we come up with a. So we had the Declaration, then we adopted style of state because that said United States of America. So we changed and adopted the style of state. Now we see a union of the states as in the confederation. So this confederacy, which is tiled capital T, the United States of America, there's our confederacy, which is the perpetual articles of confederation and perpetual union between the states of New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Bay, Rhode Island. Okay, we had adopted style of state, and now we adopted the union as union of the states, called the confederacy. It is written this way. Okay, now we will go to page 984. Oh, come on, you can't be serious. Oh, 984. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So at this point, 1783, we issued the Proclamation of Peace, the light of the gospel, and all the blessings thereof. Proceedings of the General Assembly, the United States and Congress assembled, done by this date. Now, okay, this right here puts us secured to us, because this declaration, this proclamation, brings all of those provenances of Scripture about the covenant people, especially the new, but and the old. Those are all our properties now. A peculiar people, a holy nation, a royal priesthood, a chosen generation, the people of God, the covenant people, clergy, ministry, our ministers. We'll get into that. But those are all ours now. Which hope we have as an anchor for the soul. As an anchor for the soul. The soul of this nation, you know? The representatives of the darkness are running around battling right now. They say, for the soul of this nation. But our soul is not for sale, see? There's no fight here. we're keeping our soul, sorry, but we're pledged. We're already pledged. We're pledged. We are pledged. This is our trust. This is our covenant. We didn't just pull our authority or claims to sovereignty out of our hats or claim them in our own right, but by the express terms and conditions of the will of God, as ratified in blood. Now, we got to go to another book to finish up, because we're left now at the 1784 Constitution of the State of New Hampshire and the Articles of Confederation in effect. Now we have to come to this journal to get to the convention which adopted the federal Constitution in 1788. And now then, therefore, you will have to see the same taking place in New Hampshire, right? So here you go, Journal of the Convention, which revised the state constitution. That's the 1784. They claim they revised it in 1791 to 1792. So here again is the pattern. See, we were under the Articles of Confederation in the form of government called the Confederacy. Now we established a federal constitution, so we had to go back and modify our state constitution to, be in that, conform to the Union. Yeah, so anyway, that's what this book is about. So, okay, this publication of this 10th volume terminates my official labors as editor and compiler of the provincial and state papers of New Hampshire. The contents of the volume of permanent value, including articles never before published in full. The Journal of the New Hampshire Convention in 1788, which ratified the Constitution of the United States. for the United States of America, and that of the convention in 1791-92, which revised the state constitution of 1784. Mark the names of the distinguished men who composed those conventions and mark an era in our history of which the state may justly be proud, including the controversies, Vermont and grants. Committee of Safety during the latter years of the Revolution, best evidence on record of the extreme privations of the people and noble patriotism which animated them. Census, which neither was published before, ordered by the General Assembly of the state. Exhibit comparatively the growth of the state between those periods, and also show how slavery, as it existed in the province before the Revolution, came to a quiet end. The Constitution of 1784, in its Bill of Rights, spake, and it was done. Remember the scripture? The king decrees a thing, and it is so. Slavery vanished. Without a noise, without a single known civil suit, without a ripple of disturbance or turmoil on the face of society. That's pretty good. This, gonna get over here. I'll read the bottom of this part. Strict accuracy in the transcript of original records and documents, adding only such notes and explanations as appeared to him necessary and just. It is gratifying to the editor, and will be to the people of New Hampshire, to know that the volumes, as they have been published one after another, have become at once a standard authority for references matters of history. They are quoted freely by historians and writers both in this country and England, surviving the decay and ravages of time. They will remain to instruct future generations in the early history and in all the official proceedings and events of the state. This is left for us. This is so, I hope you feel honored, like we're unfolding true treasure here, left for us and for our children's children's children. To the candid judgment and acceptance of the people of New Hampshire, this last volume of provincial and state papers, as also all the preceding, is most respectfully submitted and humbly commended by their obedient servant, the compiler and editor. Concord, New Hampshire, 1877. So, we got the Journal of the Convention, which adopted the Federal Constitution, 1788. That's page 1 through 22. Here's the proceedings of the convention in Exeter, February. Here's the proceedings in Concord, June 1788. Here's His Excellency John Sullivan. Sullivan County is named after. Adoption of the Constitution, page 19. And then immediately, see what we have? Journal of the Convention, which assembled in Concord to revise the Constitution of New Hampshire. We go right through to there. I thought this was interesting. Articles of Amendment sent out to the people. Proposed amendment of Article 6 of the Bill of Rights. Senate to consist of 13. I guess they added one to the council. And religious qualification of the Protestant religion omitted. So here's page examples where they omitted this qualification, even though they've declared it's the gospel. They didn't. Apparently, somebody wanted to remove this phrase and this qualification, omit. So that's finished up, sent to the people. Articles sent out. Articles came back. And look, Senate to consist of 12 members. So the 13 went out the window. An annual meeting of legislature in June. Religious qualifications, remember here, omitted. Went out to the state and came back. Qualification included. No Catholics were going to be allowed. See? Return of votes. Constitution approved by the people. Convention dissolved. So let's look at that. Well, we already did see it here. That's what we just looked at. Let's see, it's in the provided nevertheless that no person shall be capable of being elected a senator who is not of the Protestant religion and seized of a freehold estate in his own. All right. But basically, judiciary power. Here's the there's the council. I got to see what we're reading. This is either the entire Constitution. Okay. Well, if we go, I'm just going to run to the table of contents, I suppose, and well, I guess we did enough, but these are the, so that's the basic layout. See that? We got, I wanted you to see the back and forth progression of the form of government of the Union, so-called the Republic, as a ping-pong sort of back and forth with a reaction, action, response, action type thing between the state, the people of the states, and the Union. All right, I think I'm going to call that good.